Hello, this is Goto. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. Um, so we were working on getting these first couple machines going, and last time we spent a good amount of time mining and then doing material processing. And I actually continue doing a little bit of machine processing. I did some organizing between recording here. For example, I trimmed my cactus over there. I gathered some wool. I put a bunch of those ores that we processed last time just in here to cook and stuff of that nature. So we are mostly set to kind of continue working on just the crafting here. I also punched a back door back over there because I kept needing to go over there. But yeah, we have too much tin in here. Maybe we should do something about that. I know we are going to need to use a ton of copper plates here. Let's go ahead and start cracking on this. I think we're going to need this as well. Do we need more red alloy wires? I don't think we do. We have a good amount of those right now. Let's go ahead and start cracking on this here circuit board and stuff. Oh yeah, the circuit board, I forgot. We need to make coated circuit boards, which has these wooden planks, the ones we compressed earlier. Those aren't the problem. The problem is the resin right now, which we do not have. However, we can go ahead and go make an axe for the resin. And I'm thinking to do a thaumium axe, if we have enough thaumium, which I do believe we do. So let's do... really quick, let me find thaumium plates. Nope, that is not thaumium. Thaumium plates are the ones that look weird. There we go. And then axe should be in here. Come to think of it, is there a thaumium axe? There might not be a thaumium axe. Interesting. Alright, let's just find Greg Tech axe normally then. Do we not have one? We do not. Flint axe. Okay, here's all the axes we can make. And that's not thaumium. That's thaumium. There. Why wasn't that showing up before? Anyways, there we go. Got our thaumium axe. Let's go chop our rubber trees I planted out here before I started recording. And we get some resin. And wow, this axe is nice. It actually chops the wood like bang, really quick. Alright, let's replant these saplings out here. And we got 22 resin, which should be enough for our starter amount of circuit boards at least. Let me go look at the circuitry chapter really quick. So we are currently working on the vacuum tube quest. Oh, the vacuum tube quest is going to give us some circuit boards. This quest is also going to give us some circuit boards. Let's see what it says. Second easiest part of circuits to make is, however, in the low... Blah, blah, blah. The second easiest parts of circuits to make. Circuit boards. Okay. However, in the late game, circuit boards crafting will start to nest on top of each other. Yeah, they do get a little bit more complicated. Okay, so now it wants us to go ahead and craft our coated circuit boards. Let us do that. We need both the resin and the wood planks in here for this. So grab those. There's our circuit boards. Let's go ahead and complete the quest here, and we get a handful of extra circuit boards to use in the very near future. I'm going to stick our resin in here also. Get our plates out of here. We sure do have a lot of ingots in here, I'll say. Okay, and then let's do our vacuum tubes. So for vacuum tubes, we need steel bolts, which is just going to be steel rods that we have to cut with a saw, but we don't actually have this part yet. Glass tube. So to make glass tube, we're going to need to take glass dust, which, do we have any glass dust? Glass dust is going to be either quartz sand plus tiny flint, or we need to grind down blocks of dust, blocks of glass. So quartz sand comes from pulverizing or grinding down sand, which is really easy. And then flint dust comes from flint, which is grinding down flint, as one might expect. And can we macerate that as well? Yeah, we can also macerate flint as well. So, doesn't seem too hard to get the actual glass dust here. You can also do liquid glass later, but that's like a later problem. And then we also need a ball mold. I could just chisel our mold into the ball mold. I think I might as well do that, since it's not like we can use both of them at the same time currently anyways. We can have more molds crafted later. So let's get our ball mold here. And then we're going to need some flint and some sand. So let's get some sand. Let's just start with a stack of that. And then for flint, let's just get like, I don't know, 3, because it needs the tiny piles of dust. So this is going to give us like a lot of flint dust. Give that a second to process. Where's our flint dust? Go ahead and break this down into the tiny piles. So there's 27 tiny piles. Here's some quartz sand, and there's our glass dust. And then put it in here with the ball mold. There goes our glass tubes crafting up. And I just need 6 of them for now, so I'm gonna speed this up a bit. Just fast enough to get the glass tubes. Oh, you know what, though? This quest here is going to give us a bunch. Oh well. We got our glass tubes for now. And we put all the quartz sand we have with all the flint that we made to process. Okay, so we don't have any more glass dust we can use right now. I feel like there was also a quest that gave this. Oh yeah. Here, more glass dust from here. In fact, 8, which is a little more than we needed, but there, might as well stick that over there to process. Are our furnaces running? Uh-oh, our furnaces have ran out of juice. Get some sticks going over here. What can we do with the rubber wood really quick? Can we process it in a machine? We can pulverize it into wood pulp, which we don't really care about, actually. We can extract it into raw rubber. I might actually like to do that, because then with raw rubber we can start working towards making rubber in the future. So yeah, go ahead and start extracting those. Alright, with our glass tubes, we can now make the rest of the stuff we need for this. Okay, let's go ahead and do these guys. So we're gonna need 6 of those, and then we can make 6 bolts, 12 bolts rather. And then copper wires. Okay, copper wires we need just an absolute ridiculous number of. So we need 24 plus 24 plus... And there's not a quest for these, are there? No. At least not a quest that we're currently working on. Okay, so... Get some snappy, clicky music going here. So here's the 48 for the motors and the circuit boards. And then we need 18 more for these vacuum tubes. Sorry, I just wanted to not overcraft these because this recipe is very expensive. Okay, and then let's get our vacuum tubes. Boom, 6 vacuum tubes. That also gives us an advancement. And we can go to circuitry. We can claim our 8 vacuum tubes here. Nice, so now we have 14 vacuum tubes. The next step in circuitry is going to be making the Tier 1 LV circuit, the electronic circuit. So we can see that needs resistors, steel plates, red alloy cables, and the vacuum tubes, and then also the circuit boards. Go ahead and craft 3 of these. Okay, and I left it in the table. I guess I can set it on the table. We're about to use it. Resistors. Okay, for resistors, I wanted to use charcoal dust. Do we have carbon or coal dust, though? We do not have carbon or coal dust. Let's go ahead and grab some charcoal dust. We only need 3, but I'm going to make some extra. Let's just make 32 should be good for now. Is this thing still running? No, we need to go get some more wood and top this off as well. While that processes those charcoals... Never mind, it's done. Regardless of whether that's processing charcoals or not, let me actually go just stockpile a ton of wood really quick. And I'm gonna do a speed stockpiling. So instead of using like oak trees or birch trees, I'm just gonna very specifically use dark oak for the specific purpose of stocking up our furnaces. So there goes that tree, there goes this tree. Look at all that wood. Yum yum wood. Said nobody ever. Do another pair of trees. Okay. Couple stacks here will leave the furnaces running for a good bit. How's our oil looking? Also, we have 122 buckets of oil. Very nice. That was more than a couple stacks. That was almost 3 stacks. Dark oak saplings. Honestly, why am I taking these back into the house here? Just replant one of those. Stick that in there. And let's grab our charcoal. Grab our glass tubes as well. Okay, so now we should be able to make these resistors. Oh, we needed the fine copper as well. Okay, so let's make 6 of these, and then let's make 6 of these, and then make our resistor with the fine copper and the charcoal dust. This recipe. And we don't have paper in here. Oh no. Alright, paper gotten, resistors. Let's go. Does this not have a quest for it, or... Thought there was a quest for resistors. Let me look around really quick just to make sure we don't have to craft 8 or something, because that'd be annoying. It's like, yeah, craft 8 of these, and then we only had 6. Not that I'm seeing, though. It'd only be in this chapter here. Oh, hold on. What's this? Yo, vacuum tubes? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Stick this in here. Stick our trophy in there. There's our trophy. Maybe I'll display like 1 trophy. Here's our most recent trophy. Yeah. We've got our resistors. Let's do our motors next. So for motors, we need a lot of stuff here. So we're going to need 18 iron rods to start with. So there's 18 iron rods. We're going to need 6 of them to be magnetic. And then we are going to need copper wires. We have tin cables. How many tin cables do we have in here? None, apparently. And we also have none tin wires. So let's see. I kind of wish I could unbookmark these items that are here as I make them, but that is not how it works, unfortunately. We're going to need 15 tin plates. Oh yeah, we have plenty of those. Okay. Go ahead and start cutting these. 15 of these. Oh no, our wire cutter broke. Come on, man. Wire cutter's so annoying to make. All right, let's make a nice wire cutter that's gonna last us. So, okay, not the not the electric wire cutter though. This one. Yeah, we'll do thaumium. Okay, so for thaumium, we are going to need 3 plates, which we got. And then we're going to need 3 rods here. So let's get 3 rods. 1, 2, 3. Let's get our bolt. And then our screw. And then we should have the rest of this stuff now. I, of course, did not favorite the recipe here, so I have to go find it again. Thank you. There we go. Thaumium cutters. That's going to be very nice. And then what were we doing? We were doing the tin wires. We need 2 more. And turn all of these into tin cables. And then I think we should be able to make these motors now. Let's go. 6 electric motors. Yay. Not enough for any quests, but that's wasn't the point of why I was making them. Electronic circuits, 3 of these. Let's go. Oh, we don't have our resistors in there. There we go. 3 electronic circuits. We have completed the basic circuit advancement. Let's see, what are we doing here? We're not doing those yet. Okay. Go back to evolution of Greg Kind here. We don't have these quests done yet because we need 16 circuits and 16 motors and such for those quests. We'll get to those at some point, but for now, we are going back to Circuitry of Doom. We can get some more free circuits. I love those. And that's all the quests for now, I believe. So now we have 7 circuits, and we can go ahead and start crafting our first steam turbine. Oh wait, we gotta make a rotor. We were almost there until we weren't. Okay, steam rotor. Bookmark this guy. We need 2 of them just for our steam turbine. Tin rotor, not steam rotor. We can go ahead and make our wire mill, right? Yas, wire mill, thank you. We can't do anything with it yet because we don't have electricity, but it does give us some copper wires. I appreciate those. Tin rotor. So for this one, we have tin plates. We're gonna need tin screws and then tin rings. Both of these are basically tin rods. So let's just do 4 of those for now. Do 2 sets to turn into screws, and then 2 to turn into rings. And here are our rotors. Boom, boom, tin rotors, and we should be able to make our turbine now. Oh, I forgot the bronze fluid pipes, of course. We do not have bronze plates on hand. Uh-oh. Do we have bronze? We don't really have much bronze either. I guess this is the point where we go and, like, be like, yo, we need bronze, bruh. Let's do, like, this much stuff to craft into bronze ingots. Alloy smelter, I'm going to take the ball mold alt and put the dust in here. Let's speed it up. I'll take our glass tubes. We're going to hammer our bronze ingots. Alright, make sure we're not overloading the system too badly here. Alright, I believe this should be enough bronze plates to get us through for now. Stick those in there, and then... There we go, 2 bronze fluid pipes, and our first steam turbine! Hey, very nice. And we have completed the challenge low voltage. Where is that? I don't know. For this quest reward, we give this steamed spinach. Why, though? Like, okay, I'll eat it, but why? Enriched alloy we don't need yet. I'm just gonna let that simmer in the quest rewards. Let's see. I'm just looking around to see if there's any quest rewards we want to claim really quick. Thaumium, I will just take some free thaumium ingots. Okay. Metallurgy I knew. This is crushed stibnite. I didn't want that right now. Energy. Reservoir. I'll grab our reservoir, actually. That's a quest over here as well. Okay, thank you for giving me the reward to a different quest in a different chapter. Wait, was it? Where was the quest for this? Because it said quest complete when I picked it up. Maybe in somewhere else? Oh, just a note, off camera I did lotus blossom because our plants out there grew. Our lotus plants grew out here. And, oh, they're grown again, actually. When I harvested them, it gave me the quest, and I was like, oops. Did an off-camera quest, my bad. Anyways, yeah, I'm not actually seeing where that quest is for the reservoir, so we're going to go ahead and ignore that. Let's read these quests over here really quick. I have kind of just ignored them all. Welcome, Unlike most forge energy systems, which only really care about voltage, GregTech introduces amperage. Every GregTech machine has a voltage and amperage. Make sure to check JEI what the voltage amperage requirements are. Okay. For example, look at the recipe for Tinker's bronze head hammer in an extruder. Bronze hammer. It requires 120 EU per tick, which is MV. This is voltage, not amperage, just saying. So an LV extruder cannot handle that much power at 1 amp. So behind that recipe is effectively gated behind an extruder of MV level of or above. Okay. Oh my God, Becky, look at her watt. Yeah, thanks, sure. Any other info quests here that we should read? Amp it up. Each of these single block generators produce 1 amp worth of power per tick at most. Conveniently enough, most single block machines in GregTech Community Edition only accept 1 amp of power at maximum. The math is simple. An MV generator will produce 4 times as much EU per tick as an LV variant, but at the same time use 4 times as much fuel with no fuel efficiency gained nor lost. Okay, so that's talking about other stuff. Yo, there were tin cables in here? Did you know you can make electric tools from GregTech and charge them in battery charger? Also useful for charging your on-the-go batteries for remote use. Hold up, though. This tin cable, though? Can we... Oh... I see, we can't actually really use this tin cable because it's stuck in this thick cable format and we cannot uncraft it, so never mind. Yo, they gave us a battery here? Oh, yo, that is super inappropriate. I could have not made a steam turbine at all and just skipped straight to that. Anyways, let's go ahead and set up our steam turbine. For our fluids, we've been using small steam pipes. This is only a temporary setup because I want to get our wire mill going, because wire mill is kind of what's the bane of our existence currently for crafting things. So let me get a small steam, some small pipes, bronze pipes. We were using these ones, right? Yeah, so let me get like 3 of them. Should be enough to get on the other side of our duder here. Oh, and I'm gonna need the wrench to hook these up, my bad. Get our wrench. So I'm going to wrench this direction, and then I'm going to shift wrench it so that it becomes a one-way towards this way. Place it. One-way it. Place it. One-way it. So I can't really see it, but if I did everything correctly, it should be all one-way properly. Oh yeah, here you can see it from this angle, kind of. Okay. And then we're going to put the last pipe here. I'm going to fill in the ground. And then we are going to put our turbine right here. And there it goes. It's making electricity with steam. There it goes, it's full. So hang on, what's our flow rate on our bronze fluid pipe? Maximum transfer rate is 40 L per tick. So 40 L per tick, as I mentioned before, one liter or millibucket of steam is equal to half an EU. So 40 is equal to 20 EU per tick. That's how much this generator can make with these pipes. Also, how much steam are we even making here? While these are running full steam, we are making 24. Okay. So we might need to consider upgrading our pipes, but we're not going to be using this long term. For now, I'm not going to use any wires. This is the output face of electricity here, this little dot. So I'm going to just stick our wire mill on there. And there we go. It's full of power. We can now craft. And there's this program circuit slot over here. A lot of these machines are going to have these circuit requirements that you have to put an item in with a circuit to get out a certain item, because you basically have a bunch of recipes with... Where's wire mill? You have this ingot goes in here with a bunch of different recipes for a bunch of different outputs, and the circuit controls what you actually get out. Normally, or before, you had to get a physical circuit and put it in here, and it was kind of annoying. But now you can actually get this, they have this ghost slot in here that you can just mouse wheel through, and you can just mouse wheel set your circuit. So for now, we're going to use one, and we're just going to, like, throw some tin ingots in here. And look how beautiful. This is one tin ingot. 2 wires. Yeah, let's go. Okay. And then one other thing about speeding these up is that we have to be extremely careful speeding these up, because these machines do not have a big buffer of electricity. So if we speed this up once, see how it says it's using 7? Now it's using 14 because we have doubled the speed one time. If we double the speed again, it's going to be using 28. And remember how we just mentioned our steam turbine here can only make 20? So watch what's going to happen. So now it's going 4 times speed, and our steam turbine is slowly losing steam here because the pipe it's feeding it cannot supply 28 EU per tick worth of steam. So here we can see that the tank is slow, or the internal tank there is slowly slowing down. Anyways, so what am I going to do with the wire mill? A few things. First off, I would like to make more copper. Can we use this for motors and stuff? No. So we're going to make like a bunch of copper. And I forget, do we have auto outputs? I do think we do have auto outputs. I think if we wrench this, yeah, there's the output side. And it doesn't just output the item into the air, so let's go get a chest. Not that I wanted it to output the item into the air anyways, I was just like curious. Here we go, chest. And now all of our outputs will appear in here, which is good because I want to put a ton of copper in here to process. And that is going to overflow the output slot here if I just left one output slot. So here we go. Look at all those copper ingots. Remember all those plates we crushed earlier? Yeah, no longer. No longer crushing plates. One thing I'm also going to want to make into some wires is going to be mana infused wires, because if we go over to the wire mill, mana infused wires holds, the cables hold 4 amps and they have 0 loss per meter, so that's going to be our best cables, and they're relatively cheap to make compared to, like, I don't know, superconductors in regular GregTech usually. Usually they do not give you superconductors for free. I'm just going to say that much. Okay, so we have tech machine number 1, the wire mill. It is making wires for us. Huzzah. What do we want next? We need, or we want a bending machine. This is going to make us, plates more efficiently. With a bending machine, we can turn 1 ingot into 1 plate. And we're also going to want, they don't have it listed in here, but we're going to want a lathe. Lathe can turn 1 ingot into 2 rods, so that's also twice as efficient. Also, it doesn't require the stupid file every time. The file is like half of the annoyance. Alright, so let's get our wires that we processed so far. And then let's go ahead and start cooking on this lathe, I think. How many of these do we have? We have 3 more machine holes. Thank you, quest rewards. Put our wrench back in here. So we're gonna need a diamond. We don't have a diamond on us, so let's make one really quick. Where's our diamond ore? Here we go. Diamond ore, just steam hammer it. Thank you for the diamond. So here's our diamond that we're gonna need. For this, we're gonna need... These motors each require one, or these pistons each require 1 motor, so we're gonna have to do another, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motors. So another 18 rods here. Do we want to do the lathe first? I mean, it's just iron ingots, to be honest. I'm not worried about iron ingots, to be honest. So 18 of these. Our file broke. Great. Do we have thaumium plates? We don't have enough thaumium plates or iron infused plates. That's annoying. Let's just do a steel file. So give me any file, and I'm just going to stick steel ingots in there. Okay, steel file. I don't think we're going to be using it that much longer. That's why I was okay with just doing steel. Okay, we needed 2 more of these guys. Now we can do our 6 magnetic rods. And then we can do our motors. Do we have all of the tin cables for that? Hello? It did not put the recipe on the table. Oh, it did, but it was like glitching out. Okay. We do not have enough tin cables. Let's just go ahead. We can probably craft like a half a stack of those. Should be good for a little while. Do we need tin wire for anything? To be honest, we don't really need tin wire for anything. Let me just craft the whole stack into... There we go. Okay, and then finally, motors. What are we missing here? We didn't make enough rods. How? Did I overcraft something? Oh, did I not go back and actually craft those last 2 rods I needed? That would be my bad. Okay, so we've got our motors we need. Now we need... We have enough circuits for both of these machines, so we can ignore those. Now we need the pistons. So the pistons are steel plates, steel rods, and a steel gear. How are we doing on steel plates? We have a decent bit of steel plates. Okay. So let's get 3 of these gears made. The gears also need 2 rods each. So we're going to need 6 rods plus 6 rods. So we're going to need 12 of these guys. So 12 rods. Make 3 gears. And then make 3 pistons. Yeah, there we go. And then piston is one of those stockpiling quests. So we have finished piston. There's our basic lathe. And here is our basic vending machine. Heck yeah, let's go. Ooh, red alloy plates also. That's nice. Okay. So now you'll probably notice, hey, you put no place to put wires, and I'm like, I know. Let's do really quick. Make these mana infused cables. Go ahead and stick that in there. I'll just turn them all into cables. And we get our quest complete for LV superconductors. There we go. Now we have another 8. So there we go. 24 cables. I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, I can dolly these, right? I sure can. And it kept the power even. Here we go. Here's some fun times. So we are now wiring stuff. And we're going to just put our lathe on top. We're going to put our basic vending machine on top. And we need a, you see there's no connection here. We need to connect this up. And to do that, we need to use the wire cutter tool. So just go ahead and connect that. There we go. Do we still need the wire cutter tool in the workbench? In all likelihood, probably not, but I'm going to just store it there for now. We're not using a lot of wires yet. This is still working, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright, so now we have the lathe. The lathe with which we can make steel rods. So let's make some steel rods. Let's make some iron rods as well. In fact, now that we have all of our... I was going to say, now that we have all of our big material saving machines, I am not fully correct on that. I forgot one more thing that we need to add for this. Polarizer is a machine that when we use it, we can make magnetic things with electricity rather than with redstone. So we can use this to save on a lot of what's it called? Redstone dust. So let's go ahead and cook up a polarizer as well. What do we need for this? Let's put our steel ingots in here. And this is using 16 EU per tick, so we need to be careful. We can't really put too much in there. Honestly, I think that's fine. I'm actually going to go ahead and claim this quest reward. Store your energy for a rainy day. Turbines will only consume steam if they have to run. However, powering more than one machine per turbine is only possible if you store power in batteries. That's kind of true, kind of not true. I won't get into the specific antics of it now, but I will go ahead and put a battery power in here. As you can see, the battery is filling up with power. That's because it's taking the excess energy in the machine currently to charge it. And that excess energy is coming from the steam. So you can see right now the steam is running on full blast right here. It's running at 32 EU per tick, and we're about to run out of steam here. But that's okay, because once the steam turbine runs out of steam, it's just going to be like, yo, I am out of steam, but I'm going to continue running with what steam I have. So you can see now it's kind of running intermittently. See that? So we know that based on the amount of steam being provided, it should be running roughly about 20 EU per tick. And that's totally fine. Here's our steel rods. Excellent. Let's do iron rods now. Okay, so for the polarizer, we don't actually need anything complicated here, but we do need tin wire times 2. Depending on the type of cable, we need to put this in a higher tier wire mill, but since we have lower tier cables here, we can actually use the lower tier wires. Here, I can demonstrate though. If we put the circuit to number 2 here, and then I put a tin ingot in here, it's going to use one tin ingot, and it's going to make one 2x wire. Yeah, that's not confusing, is it? So here, this recipe that's currently processing was done with circuit 2, and then this recipe that's currently running is done on circuit 1. And you can see we got another 2x, and then we got another 2 sets of 1x. Anyways, go ahead and combine those up to 4 2x. We need some iron rods. Here's our iron rods. We have tin cables. We should be able to make the polarizer. Polarizer, luckily, is a slightly cheaper machine to make, but it's going to save us a lot of redstone. So there we go. There be our polarizer. Let's do our bolt crafting quest now. Let's do this quest right here. So, do we have stuff to make that? We need another LV circuit. So let me get one of these really quick. So for LV circuit, we need more resistors. We don't have a better way to make resistors yet, do we? Ooh, not yet. Not for a little while anyways. So we're going to need some fine copper wires. So we have a new wire mill recipe for this. We can take a copper ingot and turn it into 8 fine copper wires. Pretty good, right? So let's go ahead and grab just a handful of those. We don't need a terrible amount. And we use circuit 3 for that operation. And you'll notice this machine and this machine are running at the same time fine. This machine is using 7. And it's getting the power it needs. You can see the power bar kind of dips and then it refills. It only pulls power when it needs a full like tick of power. So When it needs a full tick of power, it'll grab one packet of 32 EU from that turbine. This one is the same, but it has a battery in it, and that's why it's using extra power. However, if there's not enough power to run, it's actually going to suck the power out of that battery to keep going. Alright, there's our fine circuits, or our fine wires. Now we can make more resistors. Okay, that's enough resistors for the moment. We'll do our bulk circuit recipe another day, I think. For now, I want to do this guy. So let's get our one robot arm that we're going to need. Oh, shoot. I forgot we're going to need rubber for the conveyor belts. Well, we can make everything else we need in the meantime. The pump is going to be also annoying. We can use wax for this one, sure. And then motors. 40 motors. That's going to be the fun part. So regardless of what we're doing with the motors, as long as we craft 40 motors first, we're going to be good. So as you can see already, 40 motors takes a crap ton of wires that we don't even have yet. So we're going to need like many more wires made. Looks like we need 30 more of these made. And then how many more? 20 more tin. Okay. Go to our wire mill, and we're just going to throw both of these in here. We want it on recipe number 1. Alright. I need to step away for a moment, so while that processes, I'm going to do something else. Be right back. Actually, just occurred to me that while I was stepping away, I was like, oh no, I also need a bunch of iron rods as well. I better put some iron to lathe up as well. So let me grab a stack of iron for our lathe. Okay. Now I'm gonna continue my AFK. Be right back. Okay, I am back from my AFK. However, we are still processing a ton of iron rods over here. I actually remembered we also need to magnetize some of these rods. So let's take 40 of the iron rods and put them in the polarizer. And the polarizer, uh-oh, uses quite a bit of power here, actually. Hold up, hold up. Polarizer. Oh no, it's ran out of power. Okay, I'm gonna borrow the battery out of here. I'm gonna take the iron rods out of here. We have done goofed. Okay, let me put the battery in here so I can finish this rod. These machines will actually keep drawing power until they can complete the recipe, and if they cannot complete the recipe, they will basically, the progress will go backwards, so the power gets wasted, as you can see what's happening here. So let me put the battery back in here to fill the machine back up. Let me fill this machine back up as well. No, I don't think we can actually do that. Okay, let's just keep this machine topped off, because we need to allow the battery to recharge over here. What's going on with steam? Why do we not have enough steam? We're not using any steam, so let's look at our steam pipes really quick. I might have messed up some of our piping somewhere, because it seems that the tanks are not as full as they should be. Or not the tanks, the pipes here. Doesn't look like anything's messed up. All the one-way flow rates are correctly pointed the correct direction. Okay, so I don't see any errors here in the piping. All one way, all pointed the correct direction. So yeah, I guess we really do need to, not only a case of upgrading these pipes, we really need to just get a better way to generate steam, and I think that's what we're going to start working towards next episode. I don't know where this dirt block came from. Down there, probably? Sure. Anyways. Yeah, oddly enough, even though we should only be using 32 steam per tick to make that. Oh, hold up. I just forgot something about the steam turbine. Steam turbine. Where's the steam turbine? Steam turbine, fluid processing, steam fuels. No, that's not telling me anything here. I thought some generators had like lower efficiency. Maybe that was removed in this mod pack. But as you can see, yeah, this is just not able to keep up with powering these machines, even though it should be getting 40 steam. 40 steam? Yeah, it should be getting 40 steam per tick. We need to make some bigger pipes or something. We're gonna need some bigger pipes anyways for once we start, once we get like a bigger power production going, but for now, I think we're good on our rods anyway. Sorry, I was just standing there staring at that for like a long time. Oh, we need to make the rest of these guys. I forgot about that. Let's put our battery over here because our battery is going to continue sucking the power out of that other machine otherwise. So we need 40 of these. We need 6 more rods to go in here. And because we have a battery in here, we can actually go ahead and speed this up. The battery is going to actually be able to provide a buffer for the electricity, so even if we double or triple the speed, so this is now using 64 EU per tick, it's using it out of the battery, so it's not breaking anything. Alright, and we got all of our cables here. Magnetic iron? Why was that an advancement? No matter. Maybe I never put one in my inventory. Anyways, we should be able to make all of our... I'm just looking, I'm like, we don't have enough tin cables, do we? Let's do all of the tin wires. All of the rods, all of those. We should be able to make all of our LV motors now. Yeah, there we go. 40 motors. Love to see it. Woo! Okay, so 40 motors task is done. The rest of these are just one. So we just need to make one pump, one robot arm, and one conveyor. So pump. We're going to need 2 screws for a pump. So we know that we can get rods in the lathe. So let's go make, like, I don't know, handful of rods over here. Move our battery back over there. If we actually stop running this for a second, what happens to our power? So that fills up. So that's now full of EU. This should become full of EU now. Okay. Now our turbine is full of EU and now it's filling up with steam. And then if we put the tin ingots back in here, the steam slowly starts draining. There's some kind of bottleneck or efficiency droppage here that I'm not seeing, but it's... honestly, it's like, it's not a big deal, I don't think. In any case, we needed some tin rods. Not that many tin rods. Just a few. Oh, you know what else we can make with the lathe? I totally forgot. We can also make screws with the lathe if we put one bolt in. Sorry, you can't really see this bolt here. Can we get a different screw? Here we go, steel screw. There, now you can see steel bolt makes steel screws. We don't have anything to cut the tin rods with yet, but soon we will. Let's go ahead and cut our screws. We're gonna need 2 screws and 1 ring. We still can't make a tin rings yet because we're gonna need an MV extruder for that. So there's our tin ring. Then let's go ahead and make our 4 tin bolts. Do we want 4 tin bolts? Can we do anything else with bolts? We can make circuits later with bolts. Yeah, let's go ahead and lathe all of these tin bolts. Oops, I didn't leave the battery over here and it was struggling to process. Bolts should lathe very quickly into screws. Yep, just like real life, I'm sure. um, all right, and we should be able to do... Oh, let's do our wax rings now. So wax, we need... Our candleberry is back in action. And then we need to knife our wax. We do have a knife in here, yeah? Okay. Oh yeah, our old flint knife, I forgot. So there's our wax rings. We need a bronze fluid pipe. We don't have any bronze plates. Oh my god. Bending machine for plates. Oh, and we gotta do a circuit. Let's do circuit 1. And there we go. Here we go. 1 plate to 1 circuit. Sorry, one ingot to 1 plate. Sometimes I can speak, and other times I cannot. Mostly I cannot, but still. Ooh, that's using a lot of power also. Our turbine definitely can't keep up with that. Let's put the battery in there. There's some bronze plates to go. If you ever need bronze plates, you can get them to go, I guess. I don't know. So we can now do our bronze fluid pipe for our pump. We need our rotor. There's our rotor. And I think we have everything else in here to go. Oh, we need more tin cables. Shoot. You know what? Hopefully the battery can hold that machine over. Let's do tin cables in here in the meantime. I didn't bring tin with me. Good job, me. Here we go. More tin wires, please. Tin wire recipe is actually very cheap. Power-wise, that is. So this will be able to supply that machine. This is kind of going to be supplied by the battery in the meantime, which I totally do not mind. I'm going to go ahead and grab the wires that we have, and let's go ahead... Oh yeah, let's throw our motors in here. Oh, I was having trouble clicking them there. Craft our tin cables. Throw them in here as well. Mana-infused cables I'm going to hang on to me. Those are more of a building material rather than a crafting material. And finally, we should be able to make our pump. There it is! Electric pump. And we completed 2 quests, apparently? Oh, aha, there's a quest in here. Oh, 4 electric pumps. Why, thank you. I will very, 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 very gladly take those, because those are horrible to make. Okay, next up, we need robot arm. So to make a robot arm, we're going to need a piston, and we do not have steel rods or gears for that. Oh, we do have steel rods in our inventory. Never mind, I lied. I should put those in there, really, so the table can see them. Let's do a small steel gear, and then let us do a piston, and then let us do this guy. And we don't have any more circuits, so we need to do another circuit. We need to do another circuit board. We need to do more copper wires. Oh my gosh. Alright, Tin, your role is over. You now do copper. It will get better, trust me. We only need 4 at the moment, so I'm just going to grab 4 and then we'll come back and get the rest we need later on. These are bronze plates. Okay. Get our circuit board. Get our electronic circuit. Get our robot arm. We need more tin cables. I forgot to grab the tin wires while I was over here. Alright, just do like all of them. As you can see, like, remember when we had a ton of carpet in here and now we have like, we're almost down to 1 stack? Yeah. We sure needed those. There is our robot arm finally. And what are we going to do with the robot arm? We're going to make a second one and then we can make an assembly machine. But for now we got our robot arm. Advancement made complex machines, thank you. Where's our robot arm? Okay. So in here, we just need one more thing. We need a conveyor belt. But for conveyor belts, we need rubber sheets. How do we get rubber sheets? Okay, well, there's a few ways. We can use a solidifier to make liquid rubber into rubber sheets. Um, this is... I don't feel like this is supposed to be a thing. We're not supposed to get rubber sheets from a cable that we made with wool. Can we get rubber sheet with a cable that we made from wool? Is like tin cable in here? Tin cable. Not platinum cable. Tin cable. Where's tin cable? Tin cable 8X, right? We have one of those. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. That is very cheaty. We're not supposed to turn wool into rubber. That's alchemy. I guess we do have magic in this mod pack, but I want to do it as intended instead. So what am I looking for? Let's go to the chemistry chapter for I think is where we are going to start looking at rubber. Is rubber in here? Aha. Here's rubber. So for rubber, why do we not have... Why can't we not do this quest? Do we need a chemical reactor first? I think we need a chemical reactor first. And looks like the game gives us a fluid solidifier, so we don't have to worry about the fluid solidifier. And we're gonna need to figure out a way to get sulfur. How are we gonna get sulfur? That is a good question. Let's come back to the sulfur question in one moment. In the meantime, let me shuffle some things around here. And let's go make a chemical reactor. I think that's what we need to unlock that quest. So for a chemical reactor, we're going to need 2 electronic circuits. Which means we need 2 more of these bad boys. Which means we need a ton of copper wires. Which somehow, even though I just put a ton of copper to process, like, I didn't make enough. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? Come on, please. Need 4 more. Okay, thank you. I'm probably going to need to run back there imminently to get more. We can go ahead and make our tin cables here into cables. Tin wires into cables, I mean. Okay, let's make our electronic circuits. Bonk, bonk. We need more red alloy cable. Okay, that's a... At least that's a new thing, you know? So to make a red alloy... We have red alloy ingots somewhere? Yeah, we do. So once again, we are just gonna wire mill these guys up. Back to the wire mill for you. Since we have an excess of power at the moment, I will double accelerate this. And we can go ahead and make... Just go ahead and make all of them for now. And let us make our dang circuit, finally. Okay? Tin rotor again. I really love tin rotors, if you haven't noticed. There's our tin rotor, and we should be good. We need glass blocks. We have some glass blocks over here. And we need LV machine hull. Oh, we ran out of those, huh? Yeah, we sure did. Okay, time to craft more LV machine hulls. So LV machine hulls, we use LV machine casing with some plates, but we don't have any casing. So we gotta do the casing first, and then we can do the machine hull. And then we can do the chemical reactor. Yeah, boom. Home chemistry quest complete. And then it gives us 2 more chemical reactors. And an Eye of Ender for some reason. Alright, well, here's chemical reactors. We're going to stick those wires there. And here goes our chemical reactor. Boom. Chemical reactor, we can now make the liquid rubber. We can make the liquid rubber. Doesn't mean we have the stuff to make it with, though. So we're going to need raw rubber pulp, which we have, actually. We made some earlier. So we have the raw rubber pulp. The issue is the sulfur. So the sulfur is what we need to figure out here. So there's our raw rubber pulp recipe. In fact, we can, let's see, wrench. Where's our wrench? I think I put it back in our crafting table again. Sure did. So if we output this over here to the right and we set fluid auto output, we see this is now marked with a blue. So when it makes fluids, it's going to output it to this side. And we can go ahead and... I was going to say put our fluid solidifier over there, but we actually cannot. Oh, another electronic circuit quest reward, thank you. So there's our raw rubber pulp and sulfur. Let's see what it says about sulfur. You can get sulfur from processing cinnabar ore, or in lesser amounts from silver or lead. Once you make it to the nether, sulfur is abundant as ores and can be refined from blaze powder. Okay, well... So it's saying silver, lead, or cinnabar. So sulfur from material tree from ore processing. Okay, so it's referring to these byproducts here. And if you didn't notice, these byproducts need more machines that we do not yet have. Thermal centrifuge is one of those processing machines. Ore washer is a processing machine. Centrifuge is for ore processing. Electrolyzer usually doesn't have LV machines we can use, LV recipes. Though we could use galena to get lead and sulfur. I don't really think that's a... These are not good recipes, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We're not going to be able to use pulverizer to get sulfur because this second slot is only available on HV pulverizer or above. Sulfur makes sulfur dust. That kind of makes sense, I guess. Alright, so we're going to need one of these. And the machine I'm thinking we're going to use is the centrifuge. So back in our processing tree here, centrifuge is this one? Wait, no, this one here. So centrifuge is on this end of the process, as well as on this end of the process. So lead will give us silver if we do a dirty lead to process it. If we clean it, then we can get a sulfur. What about silver? So silver will give us lead, and if we clean it, we can get sulfur. Okay. Sulfur gives us sulfur everywhere. Kind of makes sense. Naquita we don't have. Cinnabar. Okay, cinnabar we also have to wash. So it's looking like we're going to have to wash some ores. And we can wash it manually. It's not a big deal to wash manually. Hold up, what's this? Cobaltite? Cobaltite we don't have to wash. We could just centrifuge the dirty cobaltite. Same for galena. Okay, galena is another option. I'm thinking let's just do a centrifuge and then let's do like galena for now. So let's put some galena to process in our steam grinder here. Let's make a centrifuge. Centrifuge. Wouldn't you know it, we are gonna need like all of this stuff. 4 circuits I like kind of hate to see actually. It's like so many. Okay, hey, we managed to finish our circuits without running out of stuff. That is good. Why did I not bookmark the centrifuge? And then I believe we needed one of these guys. Oh, our wrench is not in here. There's our machine hole, and we got our centrifuge. Yes. Yas. Alright, I want the liquid fluid solidifier to be next to our chemical reactor, so I'm going to drop our centrifuge right here. Alright, this is not the quickest process. Okay, here's our crushed galena. Now, let's go ahead and process those. They're also very slow to process. I don't want to wait 2 minutes. Let's cut it down to 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. 7.5 seconds. That seems like longer than 7.5 seconds. I might have done the math wrong. Alright, so we have our impure galena. Now we can centrifuge this. Ooh, that does take some power, though. Where's our battery? Where is our battery? Here it is, in the bending machine. Alright, impure galena, process away. And we get galena dust. Okay, well... Nobody said it was 100% process here. It's only 11% chance. So, from all of this, we're only going to get, like, 3 sulfur, most likely. Also, I'm going to be totally unhinged here and just, like, nuke our battery. Look how fast that battery is draining now. I would really like the sulfur, though. You can see the seconds remaining is dropping much faster than it should be. Because it's like, buddy, you are using me way faster than 32 EU per tick. Alright, so let's see if we're going to be on drop rate or dry for our sulfur. This next galena that is processing will be our 9th one, which means we should have statistically 1 sulfur dust. How are we going to do it? I can also go over here and go ahead and grab our rubber pole. Nope, we did not do it. Okay, and we're gonna run out of power now. Uh-oh, we are out of steam generation. That's really bad. Go sticks. Oh no, we ran out of steam and now our battery is just draining. Okay. I'm going to... How should I handle this? Because we're not going to get the steam in here any faster to make more power with. Just double checking something really quick. I'm going to put my battery over here in the first machine so that it's going to start sucking power sooner. And then it's going to deprive this machine because I'm not sure that machine is going to be able to run without a battery in it with how much power it's drawing. This recipe uses 24 EU per tick, and we said we can't even generate 24 EU per tick, so we definitely need the battery to supplement that. Let's speed these guys up really quick for a moment. I'd really like to get the sulfur, though. Oh, we have the shaking chest effect that happens. For some reason, whenever you use time in a bottle, this little glyph effect kind of messes with certain tile entities. You see these chests kind of wobbling around. And certain other tile entities are also affected by it. Okay, see the glyphs disappeared and now the chests are not wobbling around anymore. Okay. As far as upgrading our pipes, what I'm thinking is, we're gonna have a bronze boiler at some point. A large bronze boiler. And that's gonna make up to 800 per tick. So, I was thinking for actually moving it around, I was looking at Potin. Potin is like, actually, hold up though. That doesn't hold as much as I thought it did. How are we gonna move so much steam, huh? Look at power chapter really quick. So... A large boiler, when fully powered up, will produce 800 millibuckets of steam per tick. So that's 400 EU per tick. It is suggested you dedicate 4 of these towards powering your blast furnace. Okay. If you set up 2 large bronze boilers, you'll have enough steam to push even into high voltage. But you should probably consider switching to diesel. I'm just looking here at like our options for fluid transportation, basically, because 800 millibuckets of steam per tick is like a lot. Ooh, mana-infused pipes. Mana-infused metal can be used to make really powerful fluid pipes. But if you don't have mana-infused metal and still want good recommendation, potent pipes are good. Okay. So, mana-infused pipes. Here they are. Oh yeah, look at that. The small mana-infused pipe gets us 1,000 liters per tick. That's like actually obscene. So we're gonna make those. To make those, you might recall that we need to take steel and throw it in mana. I should go get a bucket of mana rather than running out here to our mana pond every time. But I mean, our mana pond's like not that far away. Do I have a bucket on me? I sure do. Let me take a dirt block. I'm going to take that bucket of mana and fill it in with a dirt block just because I'm like, oh no, I took something away. I should put something back. And let's just put this, like, I don't know, out here maybe? Seems good. And now let's throw our steel ingot in it. And the great part about this is that we're going to be able to put these in our metal bender to get the plates at a 1-to-1 ratio, so that's really awesome. In fact, can we do that now, or is our power still mad? Our power is still mad, kind of. Let's put our battery in here. I'm just going to upgrade this temporarily. We're going to be redoing all of our lines very soon, but for the meantime, I'm going to upgrade our stuff. Oh no, come on, can I get my ingots? Okay, I was like, I don't want to jump in the fluid to get my ingots because it's going to make me float away and waste like 15 seconds of my life, so. Okay, so with these, we can make fluid pipes, right? You could also make them in an extruder at MV voltage. Okay, so we cannot make them in an extruder. Never mind, I lied. Okay, and then go ahead and craft these puppies up. Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna go under our base here and just replace these pipes really quick. I would like to replace the line from the boilers. So because this line right here is actually connected to the boilers, I can actually go ahead and connect it here as well. Here, let me disconnect this guy here. I don't have my wrench. Gosh dang it. And I broke too many torches, now it's dark. There we go. Let me get my wrench. Let me also get more pipes. I think this battery can now go over here. It has 86 seconds of power. Do we think I can set this up in 86 seconds? Let's see if we can do it. Wait, hold on. Even if I can do it, the problem is that we're not generating enough power anyways for that guy. Alright, this is a gamble. Let's go. So we are going to disconnect this steam turbine from the bottom and reconnect it on the bottom to the mana infused pipe. Alright, and then now I have to rewire all of these. I just destroyed an obscene amount of mana steam there. Okay, so that is one way. Connect it up, connect it this way, and one way it. Up, this way, one way. Up, this way, one way. Up, this way, one way. This way, one way. This way. Up, this way, one way. This way, one way. This way, one way. This way. Boom. There we go. Now this is going to be firing on full blast while this buffer of steam here is full. And I can go ahead and close this off down here. Where did I lose a brick? Also, here, close this off. Fill this back in down here so it doesn't look like I made a giant hole, even though that's exactly what I did. Trying to fill this last block in over here. Come on. Oh, you know what? We are just going to leave it like that. Let me go get a new stone brick to replace that I broke there. Let me get some meatloaf sandwich as well, because my dude be hungry. Sid Garland is hungry right now. Because he's just over here. He has this heavy copper helmet and these chain leggings on, even though he's not in combat, so he's wasting a bunch of calories lugging these around. Okay, and another funny thing I can do is I can go over to this steam turbine. This steam turbine is not outputting. This steam turbine is not outputting. These steam turbines do not output from the bottom. Okay, well... I guess we're gonna have to go fix that right now. Oh, we have a yellow X down here. Good thing we saw that. Okay, so this does not actually connect on the bottom. Well, it does connect, it doesn't output. So we're going to run the wire up here, or the pipe up here. We're now going to connect it here, one way at here, one way at here. And now that steam turbine on the bottom is running. And we can do something funny with it. Because that steam turbine is connected to the mana steel directly, we can accelerate this steam turbine. Or boiler, I mean. Sorry. Did I just call this boiler a turbine like 15 times? Sorry about that. So we can speed this up. So now this is making 12 per tick. 24 per tick. Now this is just burning this sticks obscenely quickly, but it is making a lot of steam. And if we look over here, our steam buffer in this pipe should be filling up. Yeah, look at that. Nice. So now we have enough steam to actually power our centrifuge and then some. Like, look, our battery is even charging. Yo, also we got four sulfur dust in here. That's really, really good. Let's go and take our battery out. And let's take our sulfur dust out. I would like to now process rubber. This uses 16 EU per tick. We can handle that. Put our battery back over here for a moment to support the centrifuge. And we're about to have our first rubber, wouldn't you believe it? Machines are so loud. I need to find a volume knob for them or something. They don't show up in here. See, even though I just muted the centrifuge, we still hear it. So, there we go, liquid rubber. And with liquid rubber, we can go back to our chemical processing chapter, because The quest reward for this is a basic fluid solidifier. And with the basic fluid solidifier, we can put it next door to the chemical reactor. It's going to auto output the fluid because I told it to earlier. We can put our plate mold in here, and there we go, rubber sheets. We have done rubber sheets. It gives us some rubber rings, some rubber bars, and some levels, which I will save for later. And with our rubber sheets, what did we do all this for again? That's right, we did it for conveyor belts. We can now make a conveyor belt. Amazing. There we go. LV conveyor belts complete. And, oh, we got a tool quest over here complete. Where's that one? Supply chain management? Here, convey this. Oh, 4 more LV conveyor belts. I will happily accept. And then we have finished the LV components chapter. Look at this stuff it gives us. A bunch of tin wires, copper wires, tin rotors, wax rings, and rubber bars. Love to see it all, to be honest. Very, very nice. Okay. Wow, we got a lot done. Next time, I think... Are we going to want to work on this next time? We have a machine called a circuit assembler that can make circuits more cheaply. And so you can see here, this is what the recipe looks like in the circuit assembler, and this is what it looks like if we craft it by hand. So instead of steel plate, we have to use liquid soldering alloy, or I think molten tin is also an option, but liquid soldering alloy we will figure out. That's just antimony, lead, and tin. So we use that instead of the steel plate, and we use 2 red alloy wires instead of 3 red alloy cables, and everything else is the same. Oh, except we get 2 circuits instead of 1. So yep, that's a big improvement there. Honestly, though, I might just do this, because this doesn't look that horrible. So let's just bookmark... Oh, we already had it bookmarked. This is what's going to be our goal for next time. 16 of these guys. In fact, to get ready for that, I might just go ahead and get our total number of materials we're going to need for all this, and kind of tally them up, and get them processing before I log off here. So I'm just going to do that, but this video has gone on long enough, so... That's going to do it for today's episode. We sure did some factory building today. We got our first few set of machines done, and we have our LV components quest done, so that is huge for us. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, etc. You know how it goes, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!